Okay, Forest Temple. First dungeon of the adult section. Pretty different to the 3 dungeons we did as a child. Like I said previously, the 3 dungeons you do as a child are, story-wise, more incidental dungeons than actually intended as such, whereas the 5 temples we have to do here are very much designed as like temples. And so we have the introduction of keys, the boss key gets introduced here. Were there keys in the child dungeon? I don't think there were. Just avoid the wolfos, there's no need to fight them. Also, remember these guys? Not a problem anymore. So while all of the child dungeons are pretty straightforward, with really only one exception, the adult dungeons are a little more complex. Yeah, I do like how the room gets darker when the posts take the fire. The trickiest part about this dungeon is finding the right number of keys before you start doing the circuit. Because once we've got enough keys, we're going to go through the door over there. Right there. But we need, I think, 3 keys before we go in there. Okay, you know what, come here. Come here! Oh wow, I just saw it side the wall for a minute there. And the introduction to my single least favourite enemy in the game. Stalfos. Maybe I should have gone for the bigger and sword. So they're irritating because they have no real pattern and they block a lot. So they take a bunch of time. Playing aggressively can get you through, but there's going to be a period later in this dungeon, actually, where it's going to become a little more irritating. Oh, we needed that. Do I have... Yeah, I have 3 fairies. Good. Okay, so that's 2 keys, and we need, I think, 1 more. There we go. You know, I'm really happy to be playing this on N64 again. It's been a long time since I've done this on N64, and it feels a lot better than playing it on the Virtual Console or on the GameCube. Even though I'm not using the original Nintendo 64 controller, it's a controller designed for the 64. And so it feels better than the GameCube controller or the Wii U gamepad, or the classic controller, or the Pro controller for the Wii U. Okay, so over here. Now this one can be a little tricky because we don't have the bow yet, and we cannot reach all of them with the hook shot. So your best idea is to take out the bottom 2 and then stick to the side so that one doesn't aggro. Oh, there it is. Can we make it? Can we make it? Ooh, just made it. Oh, the bubbles. Not fond of them as enemies. They are worse in Majora's Mask, where they can curse you. And the curse means you can't swing your sword. So with the adult dungeons being more complicated, you will probably start getting some real use out of the map. Essentially what we have to do is go through the left passage there, we end up on the second floor, circle all the way round, through it all to come back on the right side. I went in that way, it's this way. But the real trick comes in knowing which rooms to go in when, because it is all about the keys. I remember back when I was doing commentary with the friends, I recorded this game but we never got around to doing it for commentary, and I never actually finished the recording. But I remember this dungeon in particular gave me a bunch of trouble, because I just didn't remember the specific layout of it. I ended up quitting and restarting it like 3 times to try and get the dungeon more streamlined, rather than wandering for a bunch, thinking I've got what I need, then going ahead, and then realising, oh wait, I need another key, and having to go all the way back in and restarting like 3 times. But with the 3 keys, that should be everything. Alright. And we come back out the way we came. And we can start making our way through. So we need 1 key here. Considering how irritating the big sculptures get as a child, it really is cathartic to be able to take them out with the hook shot as an adult. Ignore that guy. Okay, what we want to do is pull this. Now, I mentioned earlier that the later versions of this game, and I think it starts with the GameCube version, changed the Gerudo symbol. What we're seeing on the block here is the Gerudo symbol. We've seen it previously, but I don't think I mentioned it. It appears on switches, it appears on all the blocks you move, and they changed it for the later releases because of its similarity to the Islamic symbol. Which is fair enough. Oh, I needed to go up the ladder first. Yeah, I passed by the ladder and I was thinking, no, it's got to be later. I was like, nope. It's got to be right now. Do it first. Alright. Not left. There we go. I'll just push it until we hit the dead end. 1 more. I misjudged the distance of that. Alright, back down. One change the 3DS version made that I wasn't overly fond of, because it kept so much true to the original, and it's really weird that they changed this, but the fall distance, so we saw earlier on, somebody said, if you hold forward while jumping from... It was a Deku scrub, I'm pretty sure, in the Great Deku Tree. If you hold forward when jumping from a great height, you'll roll, but it won't work over a certain height. The 3DS version, for some reason, changed the height. Here's the second key. Yeah, it changed the height, so it's actually way lower, so a lot of the jumps you could make safely by rolling in the original, you can't make safely without taking damage in the 3DS version. And that means Wall Masters make their appearance here, and here's the third key. But now that we're done with that, we don't have to worry about the keys. The rest of this is going to be a pretty straightforward dungeon. Is it? No, we're gonna have to do backtracking. And also this next room. Okay. You know, watch out for that hole in the centre, because if you look, we're right above that room there. We fall down, we fall right into that room. And it's only happened to me like once, maybe twice in my entire time playing it. But it has happened, and it's really irritating. You gotta backtrack through basically the entire dungeon. Alright. And now... Now here's the introduction of the biggest issue with the Stalfos. If you kill one... I think it's generally from this point onwards, when you meet 2 Stalfos, if you kill one, its body won't disappear. You have a limited amount of time to kill the other one. It's not that one, I'm sure it isn't. This one. You have a limited amount of time to kill the other one before the first one gets back up with full health. And with how awkward the Stalfos can be about raising their shield, it's really awkward, so I generally tend to alternate between which Stalfos I attack, so I can make sure they're both going down within like 1 hit of each other. We got the bow! Now we can do basically all the stuff this dungeon requires. There's a bunch of stuff in this dungeon that we needed the bow for. And it begins with taking the backtrack. This is the way we came. So this is one of the Poe sisters that we saw steal the torch flame. You have to shoot the portraits. There you go. And now we head down to the bottom to fight her. The fight with the Poe sisters, the first 3 are really boring, because it's really just doing this, and then wait until she reappears. You know, the modelling on the hand in the first person view is actually pretty detailed for the Nintendo 64. Five arrow shots. Alright. Grab those arrows. Open this. Is this a key or is this arrows? That's a key. So the other side is arrows. And what we want to do now is backtrack some more. So I was definitely mistaken when I said once you get the bow it becomes a little more straightforward. There's this room that we need to fix. You know, I was a little bit concerned about not having the dungeons in my head properly. But I definitely have this dungeon in my head properly. So, you know, that's reassuring. There's some of these dungeons... Some of these dungeons are going to get pretty long. The water temple... I should have in my head fairly well. There's the boss key that we need. I should have the water temple in my head pretty well, but it is kind of confusing. Introduction of the boss key, we need it to get inside the boss room. And the Wall Master, do not let them grab you when they drop down. If they grab you when they drop down, they will take you back to the entrance to the room? Where are we? We're here in the square room, we end up there. I don't think I need to go there. I should do it anyway, just to check. That was a lot messier than it needed to be. Yeah, the water temple gets pretty confusing. No, we do need to be up here. Right. It's a good thing I went here. Yeah, that was weird. Grab the Deku nuts. Don't think I need them anymore. And this isn't a wall master, this is a floor master. In some ways, they're more irritating than wall masters. Okay, split into 3. There we go, got all 3 of them, nice. You leave the small ones for too long, they will regenerate to being full floor masters. Which is irritating. And if you let them attack you, they will grab you by the throat. Which is kind of irritating. Is this a key? This is a key. This is why we need to be here. It's like when I was doing Resident Evil 2, and I'll think to myself, like, do I need to be here? And this takes us back to a good place to reset the room. Yeah, no, that's good. It's like when I was doing Resident Evil 2, and there's a bunch of times where I'm like, do I need to be here? What am I doing? Where am I going? And it really is just a case of, I need to shut up and trust my instincts. Oh, I need to find some hearts, because that's going to get irritating. I don't want to use a fairy on that. There's no bottles in this room, or the next. When I say bottles, I mean jars. Oh wow, I did not know that isn't actually effective when they have blue fire. Okay, there's a heart. Awesome. What am I doing putting that way? I need to use it. And now we continue onward. Yeah, the shadow... The water temple can be really confusing. The shadow temple... Well, the shadow temple's fairly straightforward. I think the spirit temple... The spirit temple is a little different because it requires you to do both adult and child sections. But the fire temple's definitely straightforward. But it's a decent difficulty curve. Is this one the fairy? That's a heart. Heart. I'm sure one of these is a fairy. Heart. Huh. Guess I was wrong. Alright, let's do another post-sister fight. Yeah. No matter how hard I try, never actually been able to back... Once I've knocked an arrow, never been able to back out of the aim without using an arrow. So the Poe sisters all have names. Who's this one? Beth. They are named after the characters in the book Little Women, I think. I should mention that's just trivia I've heard because I've never read Little Women. The standard thing with the Poes is, damn it, if you Z target them, they tend to go invisible. But I want to see if I can get this done faster by doing the jump attack. Nope. Getting close just means she spins and I can't do any damage like that. Alright. I think that's 4. One more. There we go. I'm pretty sure this is just arrows. Is it? Oh, it's a big chest. That's got to be the compass. What am I thinking of then? I haven't got a clue. We got the compass pretty much. Pretty close to the end of the dungeon, actually. Where do we go? A couple of more rooms down the hole, the third post sister, and then we end up back at the sensor room to face the fourth.